What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market thus far, what's happening with the news involving Tesla, what you should be watching for as time progresses. Before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Mumu link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Mumu, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon in just 2 days. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening with Tesla and the markets. Tesla's currently shuffling in the 182s, looking relatively weak. It's continuing to break down, and we're going to be watching to see how well this support holds. We're also going to be watching to see if the support holds going into the close, as that's approaching within an hour from now. I first want to talk about some data involving the markets, not to mention some news about Tesla before I break down the charts. Let me just say that, as you guys know, CPI came in a little bit hot. Don't forget that core CPI was above expectations. That's why the market is reacting the way it is, because this incentivizes the Fed to be more hawkish and to keep rates higher for longer. Now, for tomorrow, don't forget we have more projections for PPI to be coming out. The official report is not coming out just yet. And we also have a bunch of Fed speakers like Barr and Bostic later on. So we'll be watching to see what the Fed has to say. Most of the data is very minor, but then for Thursday, things become more serious with the manufacturing numbers, not to mention jobless claims and such. So we have more data coming out for Thursday that's more important, but for tomorrow, it's not going to be as crazy in terms of data. The market might still be taking in what was said and what was announced during the CPI report, so we'll be waiting for that as well. Now, for today, we have Airbnb announcing its earnings right after the market closes, not to mention Upstart, Robinhood, and Lyft. And for Wednesday, very, very minor earnings are coming out, except for like Sony. That's going to be a significant one. And then for Thursday, we have Coinbase, Roku, and a few others. Coinbase is going to be a very important one. I'll be watching that too. But just to be clear, I'll be talking about Airbnb a little bit later. We'll see how that goes. That's it for earnings. Now, for Tesla, we're getting some negative headlines. The news is saying that Tesla's leading an 11% annual drop in the EV prices because demand is slowing down. And unfortunately, guys, I would love to say that this is wrong, but the truth is it is actually what is happening technically. Tesla has been leading the price war, if you want to go down that route, because Tesla's been cutting prices again and again. Tesla's doing this because they're trying to prioritize getting their sales up, trying to hold up some good numbers as time progresses, and they're trying to continue to do so because they don't want like massive like backlogs in the inventories. So in my opinion, in terms of getting good amounts of sales, I don't think Tesla's doing a horrible job at that. Their latest registrations are not looking that bad. But it is kind of feeding into their margins, and this is part of why we saw the share price kind of like reacting the way it's been. Now, in total, the Model Y prices have been down by about 20% from January 2023, while overall US car prices fell about 3.5%, according to Kelly Blue Book. This is a little bit significant because Tesla has to be doing this because of what's going on with interest rates, and this is why Tesla's reacting the way it is, by the way. So, with the interest rate environment, Tesla is very sensitive to interest rates. It's very, very sensitive to them. With the Fed making the announcement that they have to remain hawkish, most likely for a longer period of time, at least this is what the projections are now suggesting. The Fed is eventually going to announce that. That's a little bit negative for Tesla. And with a high CPI, it's just not helping. So it's really hurting Tesla a lot. That's why Tesla is sank the way it did. It dropped pretty hard over the last 24 hours, and it's kind of unfortunate. So the best thing to do is just be very patient with this and see how it does. Please know that not all the news is that bad for Tesla. We had some good news. Tesla is winning the EV charging race right now, as we're starting to see pretty much every major automaker has announced that's moving into Tesla invented charging connectors. Not every single one of them has deals with Tesla like Stellantis, but they're still, once again, adopting their EV charger, and that's still giving Tesla a lot more domination. So this is a good piece of news technically. It came out yesterday, and this is still getting continued, but unfortunately, it's not really enough to save Tesla for now. So without further ado, let's talk about what's going on with Tesla. How is Tesla looking? Well, the answer is it looks bearish. There's no other way for me to put it. We have resistance right over here. The key resistance is at 184, and the support that's barely holding up Tesla's in the 182s. I want to mention that right now, I'm going to double check this for you guys. I see a potential bearish wedge forming right here, which suggests that there could be more downside coming. Tesla is still looking weak alongside SPY, so it isn't looking too great. So with that being said, Watch 182. If we lose this, 180 is coming next for Tesla. 180 is going to be our next target. If we lose that, 178, then 175 are going to be our next targets. But right now, it's favoring the bears a bit more. We have a bearish wedge. It's continuing to make lower highs and lower lows. It's barely holding on to 182, and it's not looking the best. And that's my honest opinion. Why is this happening? Once again, with CPI being a little bit hot, the hawkish Fed, and some negative news about how this is going to affect Tesla, it's not really helping it whatsoever. How about for SPY? How is SPY looking? Is it looking more bearish, bullish? It looks bearish in my opinion because this thing got a big rejection. It's just barely. First thing, it actually broke 494, so that's actually a big drop. And now we're barely at 490. So when we watch to see if SPY could hold this. Going into tomorrow, if we hold above 490, we'll see if we can try to rebound off of this temporarily, then continue lower. But if we fail to do so, as we're just barely holding 490, we'll be watching to see how we close around this area. If 490 fails us, I could see SPY retracing to 489 and then lower levels like that, like 486. The mid 480s are possibilities. SPY is looking a little bit weak, so be very, very careful on this trend. Now, for resistance, make sure you watch 491.5 and 492. If we break that, we have an imbalance to fill close to 494. But right now, the trend is still looking kind of weak. SPY was at 494, kind of rebounded, grabbed liquidity before this move to the downside came. It's not holding 491 nicely, and it's still looking more bearish. So the truth is, the bears have the edge. They're still trying to drag this down, so be careful and just know we look a bit more bearish. On the QQQ, we're looking a little bearish as well. Same setup as SPY, got this big gap down. We got a little back test as we tried to bounce with Nvda, and then they both rejected, and we're seeing the QQQ approaching 425. If we lose 425, our next target is 423.8. For resistance, watch 427. We'll be watching to see how well it holds. It's going to likely reach the 425 area down here very, very soon. And we'll see if that holds for now. It's going to be a very important support because this bounced off that level 2 times. So if we lose 425, I could see even more downside. If we hold it, there's some hope for this thing to rebound. So be careful, guys. QQQ is looking weak. Be very, very calm, cool, and collected, and we'll see how that goes. For Nvidia, not looking the best. Nvidia came down pretty hard. Got a nice bounce, so it's showing some life. But the issue with Nvidia is that this is looking like a possible change in market structure. So we had this high right here. We made a lower high. We made a lower highs and lower lows. We're kind of switching directions. There's a possibility that this could hold, but we're going to be watching these levels. Right now, I'm watching 715 into 712 as our support. If we lose 712, 707 is coming. That's going to be critical for Nvidia. If we close below that, that's going to be a sign of weakness. If we close above it, we could still try to rebound. Nvidia is still above the 700, so it's not in the worst of places. But I want to be very careful with this possible change in structure. Now, if we break above 730, there is still a chance it could try to push back up, but we're not really there yet. Nvidia does have a tendency of moving very hard, very fast. So don't rule that out. But I just want to make it clear that right now it doesn't look like it's trying to bounce. It looks like it's showing weakness. It looks like it's starting to downtrend. Not a guarantee, but it's still a possibility, and it's looking a bit more probable. And that's my only concern with Nvidia right now. So be careful, guys. Nvidia is starting to sink a bit. Please remain calm, cool, and collected with that. And then lastly, I'm just going to go over Apple before I talk about a few more and then conclude the video. So Apple, we called out the head and shoulders, the left shoulder, the head and the right shoulder. As you can see, it's playing out looking bearish. When we watching, make sure you watch 183.5. If you lose that, 182.5 is coming. And then below that, we have 181. Resistance, watch 184.25. That's where this wick happened to be. And also this previous support. So in my opinion, it's looking bearish. I mean, just look at the trend, guys. It's been sinking and sinking and sinking for 2 straight days. The trend is not favoring the bulls whatsoever. The bears have the edge, and Apple does look like it could sink even more. So watch and see if 183 holds us, or otherwise 182 is coming. And then finally, I'm just going to talk about a couple more just real quick. So what do I see for? We have like Rivian right here. You guys could see looking kind of bearish. It could be testing 15 soon. SoFi lost 8, 7.8 is a real possibility for it. For the IWM, 192.5 is our next target. If we lose 193, looking a bit more bearish. If that fails us, 190 is coming. And then let me see what else is there. Coinbase, I mean, we just lost 140. Our next target is going to be close to the 200 EMA around 136 if we keep losing 138.5. So it's looking kind of weaker. We're seeing a weakness throughout the market. The dollar is up nicely. The VIX is starting to break out. We're up 24% on the VIX. So we want to be very careful. This could be the start of a big downtrend. We need some more confirmation for me to truly say that with 100% certainty. But once again, guys, not the best of states for the markets. CPI is coming back up a bit. So you want to be very careful. Anyways, that's it for the video. Make sure you watch support on Tesla very closely. We'll see how Tesla closes. There is a bearish wedge forming, suggesting more downside is a real possibility. But with that being said, I'm going to be very patient. I'll be calm, cool, and collected. I hope you guys are the same. Do what you have to do, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. After the market closes, I'll be back in just a couple of hours. See you guys soon. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and peace out.